Yeah.
Welcome aboard, everybody. This is Theresa J. Morris, ET Talk TV as a handle. Now, Theresa has a friend named Janet Carolison, and she
Hi.
is with Aquarian Media. She named her company. And oh my gosh, everything's coming on my computer. Boom, boom, boom. Yes, we're on Hybrid Genies Experiencers, ET Talk, and we're on both ET Talk TV, American Communications Online, and Janet's Aquarian Media. And I have the hardest time on my TV getting Aquarian Media. Come on, it gives me an aquarium, IQ,
Oh,
like
yeah, I
fish.
know.
Yeah. But anyway, if you don't know who we are, we'd appreciate you trying to see if you would like us to be in your life because we are real. We are not AI. And this is getting to be a rarity, although a lot of people do podcasts. Ours is a little different. And it just was inspired around the time before we were looking forward to months of Disclosure Day, which I still haven't seen. I got to go. But
You
Janet
got to get
has.
your butt to the. You're good. And
Yeah.
be prepared. Teresa and I are lifelong experiencers, and it triggers a lot of people. Now, I've done a lot of work on my experiences to integrate them. Plus, I was involved in the military, so it was a different level. And Teresa was involved in the military, so our interaction with extraterrestrials was not like the people who consider themselves abductees. I don't consider
I'm
myself an abductee.
not an abductee. I went willingly.
I was like, yeah, take
Yeah,
me
I
to
was like
your
that.
leader.
Exactly. Here's a
I,
picture.
oh wow, yeah.
Does
I'm
it
gonna
show?
upload that. It's very hard. No, it's not working. I will upload that. I got that last minute. How old were you when that was going on, Teresa?
32.
32. Yeah.
Yeah. April
So
85. Yeah, I've done
yeah.
a lot of living since then, but that was me getting on a helicopter in Africa. But that's the
Oh, that
only
was in
proof in the whole world.
Africa. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, that's why it's so special to me is I told you the message, but people don't get grok you sometimes. Janet tries to grok me, get me. But
Oh,
yeah, that was in Africa. And, you know, I didn't understand why I couldn't take pictures, but I was there. I don't even know.
who
It
took
was
that?
a
Yeah,
very
that's a
superposition.
few.
The man that took it, he's no longer with us.
Right.
So he took the picture, but he just scared to do it. But he had a uh, automatic. That's one of
That's a
those
Polaroid.
Polaroid. Yeah,
Polaroid. Yeah.
yeah.
I
And
remember those.
but
Oh,
I wanted some kind of proof, and he's like, but apparently I was going as an investigator for multimillionaire attorneys, right? I'm guessing, or for the government. Who knows? I don't know who I was working for because I never asked. All I know is I was going to go have a good time, and I got paid to do it. So I had a good time.
that's
But the thing is it had to do with the way we think of da 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 Men in Black, right? And
Men
that
in Black.
story. Remember years ago with Thomas Morris, my husband. He was
Right.
the one that was in Africa at the end of a barrel. That's how Alfred Lambermont Weber still has that story.
Well, I we recorded that on our show, not
Yeah,
Alfred's show, and that's somewhere on one of the early show. Well, Tom died. It's in 2015, right?
right. But
Right.
it was the year before or so before he died. He got on the
Right.
radio.
He came on and he. Well, I don't know what you want to
I've
share, but
seen
he said that he was uh, an
he was
assassin.
CIA. He was
Is that what it's called? TIA? What does that mean? TIA? Oh, CIA. He was CIA.
yeah, and he was a shooter for Reagan at the time,
Right. Yeah.
'85. And
So
I was just back
we have
in
that
World
recording
War.
somewhere. We're gonna look that up and see if it's still out
It's
there.
oh, it's still out there. It comes up every once in a while. You just have to. I don't
Yeah.
know how it comes up, but it does. But there's a lot of history Janet and I have done, and we thought we were doing it. I guess we were starting an event called Stargate to the Cosmos,
Yeah, but that was later. That was
2012.
you've been at this for your entire life since the '60s. You got recruited when you
Oh
were a
yeah,
teenager in the
oh yeah,
'60s.
yeah,
So
yeah.
you were more aware of your recruitment, but
Oh
as
yeah, I
an
wanted to go in to get
experiencer,
in the government. You know, even though my husband that I wanted to marry was like, no, he had 5 scholarships and he went to work for NASA,
Right.
directly, which was, I didn't know that, but us being so young, and he was like 19, I was like 16. He was in college, going to college, but Chris Kraft, the actual flight director, this is a big thing, Christopher Kraft, and we went and talked to him. We were young. It's like we were chosen or something. But
You
they
were
called us
chosen.
interns back then. But he was a real full-time employee. He got a badge and everything, So
Right.
I had a badge to come and go, but I was having babies here and there. But they kept my uh, government paperwork all done
Right. Right.
since back. It was so much fun living that life, but at the same time, I had to live a dual life, because I mean, I knew I was doing great things, or thought I was, uh, investigations is basically what it was, but I couldn't tell my family, but I did tell my mom I was going to Africa. I had to tell somebody, at least one
Right.
person. They said, "Well, you can tell your mother." So, I'll
I'll
tell my
go to
mother.
Africa, Mom. What? You go to Africa?
Yeah, well, my husband
Do
and
you know
kids, we
why
were
you
already.
went to Africa? Did they ever explain your mission? Or it was just like you don't need to know, just go. You do as you're
I've just
told.
witnessed a lot of stuff and met a very ultra rich man that had a big, beautiful home over a house. I mean, a huge. It was sort of, I don't know. It was secretive. It was very strange. But you know what Tom said when I was outside that the largest country club in the world, right? So,
Uh-huh.
but because of the history, we really can't talk about it because it shows an underlying level of existence that did happen. But right now, because I told you, if we don't do it now with AI, it never existed because this is now their new reality and
Well, history
superposition.
is a function of whoever controls the narrative, so we're doing the best we can. But I realize talking about it, this sounds so abstract. People aren't going to know what you're talking about.
Right. And that's okay because there's a lot of investigations that it's sort of like people, well, right now, Hal put off people, either pro or con, because he has so many non disclosures because of the Stargate. And you and I both know it existed, but I got told about the one word when I was in Hawaii. And I'll talk from different years because, I'm real old now. But back then, they said, just remember the word Stargate, and
Right.
Men in Black came in, and I was so happy because I thought I was finally going to see you, and we were going to talk about what happened when we got separated with the ladies,
I
and
have that if you want me to play that.
you do okay, play
Yeah,
that.
I can jump to that. Do you want to
Yeah,
do
because the Men in Black had us in yeah. You want to? I've got my
Yeah.
memories.
Okay. Well, let me add
The
it to the
Cadillac one.
stage. Hold on. I gotta.
I came and picked you up in my Cadillac.
Nope,
I was very
wrong
proud of
one.
my Cadillac.
Today we explore
Oh,
the
no, no,
field
shut
and
up.
the nasal.
No, stop. Oh, I might have had to knock it off. To
I
let you.
saw it on YouTube.
Yeah, to let you on, I had to take one off.
Today's
Oh,
date.
yeah. Uh,
Well, well, that's
let me start the first one, and then we can talk about that. And while we're talking, let's let this run, and then I'm going to take something off stage and put something on stage. I'm going to put the part. It's called part 5, but we're going to do this and just run this real quick. Okay, and
that's
nope,
our
that's the
beautiful
site.
avatars that we're. I guess
Oh,
everybody
I'm
can make
sorry. I
their
had to
own world.
remove
We're
some
world
things
building.
because of me letting you on. Okay, let me. Oh shoot!
World building.
Sorry, not so professional. Okay, let's just start with part 2. We'll go back and forth.
Welcome to Hybrid Genies Part 2, Childhood Contact and Hidden Teachers. Today, we explore the mysteries of interdimensional learning and early extraterrestrial encounters. Imagine a bubble-like classroom suspended within a larger craft or interdimensional space. At the front stood a guide with a round face and bright blue eyes, holding the essence of direct knowing. A hidden eye would appear lower on the bridge of the nose, visible only when activated to facilitate higher learning. This instructor felt like a guide rather than a figure of control, where learning came through direct experience. In this same learning field, other beings served as facilitators for the young students' expansion. Beyond the transparent walls, students sensed light, energy patterns, and the vastness of the cosmic space. Meanwhile, on Earth, 4-year-old Janet played in her mother's wildflower garden beneath a tall shade tree. She sang songs and picked flowers until the rest of the world fell away, and she was no longer alone. 2 calm gray beings greeted her with kindness, inviting her to step aboard their ship. Inside the house, her mother heard a child talking, but Janet was experiencing 2 realities at once. A swelling behind her ear became a lifelong record, an implant to help her remember and communicate. These early contacts were not of fear, but of love and curiosity. The place behind her ear stayed as a record of her cosmic journey. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the hybrid 5 of my journey, the psychic.
Sorry.
Nice.
Okay. It jumped up. Let me go back to us two. Okay. I was loading while that was talking, and it just popped in and takes over. I'm learning. Try to get him preloaded. It lets you do one.
Well, if you see one that's dark, you need to go back and put a picture up. We did one yesterday that was 22
Okay,
minutes.
there we are. We're both here. Okay. Yeah. So anyway, that's what I'm playing with. That's
I can tell you're playing because you're cutting in and
avatars.
out.
I have another one uploaded. Okay, keep fading in and out. So I want to talk about that.
Yeah,
So
anybody
that
can
was,
do these things.
We add
This
this
AI
stage.
helping us
Have this.
tell
Well,
our
you
story.
you have to be smart.
Do you?
I mean, I don't.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Oh no, that's part 5. Yeah, you have to be smart. It's really hard.
Kids, be smart if you get to see our
I need to
Genies.
be smarter than I am to do this. I need to be smarter than I am. Okay, I've got the wrong one here. Okay, so let's just go back to talking about the one we just did, which was.
Well, I love seeing Steven Spielberg just being one-on-one like we're doing now. Of course, they had a white background. I don't know who did it. It was a lady that I'd never seen before. But anyway, talking about how you make those movies, and we're supposed to be from our waist up or whatever. But you can see him sitting in the whole chair from the outside.
Right. Yeah, they have them in the real studio. So they're not.
Yeah, but he kept saying, back up, because he doesn't want to have this cameo, of his face only. Like,
right. Well, I have to do the controls when I'm running the board, so I can't be worried about it. Okay, so let's talk about the guy with the eyes, the third eye.
Well,
so tell our listeners about that.
Well, this was in Gulf Breeze, Florida, which is a mecca. Before, I didn't even know that Gulf Breeze had anything to do with UFOs, but I learned it through going to. I learned about UFOs and all that early in life, and wrote a letter about it because I was having visitations to QFOs, J. Allen Hyneks. But the third-eyed guy comes way later, just 2022 maybe. Anyway, I made a film about it, and I hardly get any hits because nobody knows who I am. You never really know who the experiencers are, and we sort of keep to ourselves most of our lives. But now we're talking for Disclosure Day, and we've been working in this. But the gentleman came to see me with 2 men, one with brown hair and had 2 different colored eyes, a cat eye, and I guess a blue eye, which you show in one of the pictures. And the other gentleman was Irish looking with red hair, and his third eye opened up, but he had to get real up close to me, like looking at me right in my eyes, and then it opened up. But I was very shocked to see that. But at the same time, I mean, I'm in a totally different other reality knowing it, but it's as real as me talking to you right now. But it feels so odd because it's hard to explain. You're there and you're there, but some part of you that is your oversoul or your higher self knows are they here or am I there? And so
Right.
we always have a watcher, and my watcher knows that I am me. So that is the recorder and the one that where all reality is trying to find in physics where we are behind the eyes. And so I think they came to teach me because they pulled, they visited with me, and that was a shocker. I mean, just sitting and then, uh, I guess it started like a download,
It was
but then
it was in your house. You're saying it was in your house?
it was it was in Gulf Breeze, and yeah, and it appeared in my another virtual reality because I got up in the morning and I thought, well, this was hypnagogic, where you don't know if you're asleep or you're awake. It makes you feel that way. Some people may have a different reaction, but it's like being in a bubble in time and wherever you are, and you got that oh or aha or
Right.
oh okay, well this is, and you're like, wait, is this normal? It's almost like something in your DNA remembers. I'm O positive, but
Right.
we're
Yeah.
supposed to be the oldest in the world, But anyway, it doesn't matter. Probably anything biological, but they appeared to me biological. And I don't remember touching them. I just remember one got it right up. But they came in a spacecraft, like what I call a Galaxy Universal Shuttle. Bob Lazar calls them a sports model.
Right.
Okay. So
So they came. This was where were you when they showed up? Was that on the beach, or am I confusing your
well, I
episodes?
had them on the beach too, but wow, you're getting me all confused. But yeah, it's so funny because the brain has pictures and patterns, and it remembers like a recording, right?
Right.
Most
Yeah.
of you are at least a picture, but slides and video, and it seems like there's a recorder. But no, this one, I was getting up early in the morning from my bed, walking. I was out of bed, and I realized I went out to my hall like I normally do, is get up and go to the bathroom, So that's what I was doing. So when I came out, it was like, I mean, the room, I have to go in a little hall and then just right next door to the bathroom at this particular location for 7 years. But when I came out, I felt funny. I was like, well, I'm better go. I'll do this. If I get up early, and it's about, for me, early is 8:30. But anyway, it could have been 6:30, but the sun was out. But the thing was, I was in my room. It was morning, hypnagogic state. Go to the bathroom, halfway awake, halfway asleep, but your awareness is there. And I looked, and all of a sudden, I don't know how to explain this. A spaceship appeared. I don't know. I do not know how to explain the transition,
Right.
because a lot of times if you're outside or you think it comes through the
So what you
wall,
were?
I can see a
Oh,
spaceship.
okay. Yeah, I have an explanation for that. I
Okay.
asked it. I
Okay.
had the ship that we call Gus,
Uh-huh.
and there was all this noise outside my window, and it woke me up, and I go, what in the world's going on? And my husband likes to be up all night and do his creative writing, so I got up and went into the office, and it was still going. And I said, wait, do you hear that? He goes, yeah. What is it? I said, I don't know. I'm going to go find out. It was cold. It was winter, and we don't have heat. We just have blankets, right, or more clothes. So I said, I'm going to go back to bed and just ask it telepathically what's going on. So surprisingly, I got an answer. And it said, hey, it's Gus. And because we've talked about Gus for years now, it's like, oh,
Yeah.
okay, what you want? He said, I'll just let you know I'm here. And, sometimes you question your reality. I always like to have proof over and over and over again, right?
Yeah.
So
Really.
my whole life I've had proof on top of proof on top of proof. And I like to have witnesses. I've had witnesses. I've had people met me later and they go, me too. That happened to me too. So I've got all this, what I call proof, but I don't have any pictures. which is they won't let you take pictures for the
And
most part.
I tried early life. I can get in a whole reality of how that happened and when they let you. And that's only recently in the last, what, 20 years or so, maybe.
Right. So
Well,
I asked Gus, I go, where are you? He says, well, I'm down below you under the big tree. I have a big tree in my southwest corner of the property, giant tree. I go, well, how'd you get there? He said, well, you thinking I have to go fly through it, underneath it, maneuver it? He said, no, if I want to be under the tree, I just think it and I'm under the tree.
hmm.
I go, okay, so you're under the tree. Can I get a flashlight and come see you? He says, no. If you try to get a flashlight and come see me, I'm going to blink out.
Huh.
I'm not going to let you see me, but I'm here and I'm going to talk to you. And he was still making this weird noise the whole time. So finally we said goodbye. So, like you're saying, it's like sometimes they make the walls dissolve and like your whole configuration of where you're at.
Yeah.
It's something you don't have a sound wall, right? It's like, well, where the hell? But
Yeah.
it's okay. When it's over, the wall's going to come back. For that, they can move molecules aside. They can change. They can shapeshift. They can
I
do
think they're
whatever.
interdimensional. I really don't know because, I've interviewed people with Janet for years and years to give other people the chance. And now we're coming forth and telling our stories, I guess, because after Disclosure Day, it was Steven Spielberg, who we love. He liked movies and he got his service to go be in the military when he was there watching a Stanley Kubrick
Oh,
movie. Yeah, he said, and that was when he was 18. He just turned 18,
did he
and
serve
his
in the
father.
military or just got the notice?
I didn't get to hear the rest of it because we were talking
Okay.
about the why he why he made the movie that he did, but he didn't use experiencers. But apparently, some other people, I guess, planning maybe did, the actors or actresses. But the whole thing was he said he is a believer. He believes the believer. He's a believer that the people that experience or have experiences have their experiences. Now, he didn't get into explaining how or why, who, what, where, why. They mentioned about ET, I think, at the end of the show, but that's his reality. And he explained that was his fictionalized science. He loves science fiction, but it was based on his experience. And now his experience was just starting after he made the movie. But he says, I don't know why I haven't seen anyone. He doesn't understand. They said they don't come to me. So,
Right.
they're there, but not
That he's
everybody.
aware of. We have to
Now
really
he may
say
experience. Yeah.
they do mind wipes. They want you to be able to live a normal life. It's for your protection. If you say something to the wrong person, they might think you're crazy or lock you up or take away your money or disenfranchise you. So
Getting
you have to
better
be
now.
careful. Huh?
Thanks to it's getting better. Now they started 2017. He said, of course, it's always been there. Oh shoot! Hold on just a minute.
Okay.
I
We're
was
holding
reaching.
on. You okay?
Yeah, I was reaching for my uh, drink, and
Oh,
I'm not ambidextrous as much. Hello.
okay, good. Yeah, you have to stay hydrated when you're drinking or you start to choke.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Very
That's okay.
realistic. Oh, excuse me. Oh, so this human body, I'm really. Oh man, I don't. I feel like I'm visiting this planet. I've always felt that way, and I wonder how many
Well, I
people are
wanted to
like it.
really talk about that because that's what I was dreaming.
Yeah.
We really need disclosure because with disclosure comes the tech. We are intentionally short lived and dummied down. So if we get full disclosure, like all the tech, all the information, we will actually save our own lives if it happens in time. We can get rejuvenated, age reversed, our bodies restored to optimal health. It's just like when you die. People have NDEs. A lot of them will say, "Well,
Yeah.
um, I or the Life Between Life information by Dr. uh, what was the name? Newton. Uh, People, when they die, they start to regress in age. So you still have some kind of body, but you go back in age, and people on the other side all look about between 20 and 35 years old, right? We look young, we're healthy, we're vibrant, we're alive, we don't have wrinkles, and we don't have our coughs. And like both of us oh, you forgot, you got to put your thing down. We can't hear you.
I said, I think we look pretty good. You're 2 years young, January of, wait, you were born February
February
6th,
654, but I put a
54.
filter on because I'm vain, and it looks like I'm not as wrinkled as I am. But sometimes I look at me and I go, "Oh my God!" And sometimes, so anyway, I'm vain. I colored my hair. This is kind of the color of
It's
my
so
hair.
pretty
But what
though. I
you've
wish it
got,
had more red in it. I really like the red. You're Irish,
well, it
but
washes out. Yeah,
yeah,
it washes out.
so quick.
But this
Yeah.
is like a shampoo. Anyway, enough personal
Oh,
stuff.
okay.
Yeah, but anyway,
Hannah Rent.
back to so what Spielberg was saying. So you're saying that he's now having experiences,
No, he says he wished he doesn't.
hoping,
His whole thing is, he made that movie based on his experiences, and then when these actors came on to play the part, all of a sudden he had a 55-page story that he had a writer make for movie.
but he
It wasn't a
wasn't an
script. He wrote a
experiencer.
55 page. He wrote
But
a 55-page science fiction story. This
but
is his
he was
story.
not a personal experiencer. Is that true?
No, he wasn't. This is him. Whatever you saw was him gravitating out of his mind. That's his story.
But he
It's his.
researches all this stuff. He has something that he's doing because if you watch Taken, that was 20 hours, and it was very accurate with the history that's known out there.
I
And,
don't
and
think he wrote that story. I don't think he produced Taken.
well, Taken, he did
I
have a
have it,
writer.
two
It might be the
copies around
same
here
guy
somewhere.
that wrote, co-wrote, the screenplay for Disclosure Day. Anyway, he obviously has some kind of track to the real information because it's pretty accurate. So people have seen Disclosure Day and they go, well, yeah, this kind of is reaffirming to what we know. There's some new things. You have to go see it, Teresa.
I
Just
know, I will,
yeah,
and
and then
I
we can
know
talk
that
about
he
it
wanted.
in depth.
He said the reason he didn't talk to people like you and me as experiencers was because he he said no, I didn't want to do that. So while he was writing his story in his 55 pages, that's his copyright, that's his story.
Right,
And
right,
then he got a writer to help him the way that I understand it. And
right,
he wrote in to make it screen playable with
right.
people in it. And so as he met the people that came on, he said they folded in to his story. So every person he added in the character changed his story. He enjoys being a filmmaker, and he's excellent at it with Jaws and Indiana Jones and the ones I love, ET, but the best to me was the TV series Taken, because he did say that. He said you get enmeshed, and that's what he had learned when he got that letter on his 18th birthday. He was standing in line going into a movie, and his dad came up to him and his friend waiting in line, gave him he was distraught and thought, like he would get in the car with him, but he gave him the letter because, like, Dad, I'm here waiting for this movie. He's like, I know, but you got this letter in the mail. So it was very
But what's the
shocking.
letter?
Uh, I don't know how to say it. It was from Uncle Sam. You
Oh,
have to
that he got
report.
drafted.
Yeah, he got drafted.
Oh yeah, I've had that story. I've had boyfriends that got drafted.
Yeah.
It's like
So
your stomach falls to the floor, and you go, oh, I'm gonna
he
die.
didn't
I'm
want
gonna
to go
go
to
to Vietnam.
war.
I'm gonna
He's
come
like, I
back
don't
in
want
a
to go.
bag, and it's horrifying.
Yeah, he didn't want to go to Vietnam. So he didn't go into the details, but you got the message. Grokking him that he was very, oh God, I don't, like he doesn't have a choice. He's caught. But his dad thought he'd get in the car and they'd go home. He said, "No, I want to see this movie."
Want to see the
It
movie before I go
it
off the
was
main of
it
a
was a
dime.
cool movie. And I remember the guy writing that bomb down. Whoa! He was
Oh
writing
yeah, I forget the
it
name of that one.
Stanley Kubrick movie, and I
Yeah.
cannot think of the name. And I think he mentioned
It
it
might
once.
come to me if I don't focus on it. Sometimes it just comes. I put the
Yeah,
back search engine going, and it's like,
yeah. It's so hard to talk about things, especially if it's another person's secondhand information. But the
right,
whole point was we're authors and we write, and we love being on this side of the experiencer level in our age brackets. But he is very out there and has really enjoyed doing what he's doing. But he didn't start out that way. So when he
right.
went in and saw the movie, the point he made was he completely forgot about the letter. He got so absorbed. I think this really affected Stanley
Oh yeah,
Kubrick's movie, and watching it changed him. It was like a life changing experience because he just got that letter. It's a real traumatic thing for a boy at
oh
18.
yeah.
And, his dad just gave him the worst in
Worst news in the
the
world.
world at that time, and I lived through it too. You did,
Oh yeah.
Vietnam.
When I was a kid, just a little aside, my classmates were dreading getting older, right?
Yeah.
So you're like, your birthday was. I'm closer to that point where I might get that letter, and it'll be the last year of my life. The last days of my life. I'll go to Nam and I'll
Yeah.
get shot.
My
I'll
husband
get
got that
blown
letter.
out.
It was
So
Chris Kraft
so
that
this
saved him.
they're bringing back the draft, but you don't want to have that for your children because
Right.
they can't really live in the moment.
Well, you can imagine how was the dread back then, and he was living the moment with his dad. But his dad said, "Well, you come on, we'll go home." He's like, "No, I want to see the movie." So he
See
got
the
much
movie.
to me, and he said he got so involved. I mean, it took him that he learned how to project with the person and live in
Right.
the movie,
And
and he totally forgot about the letter until he was on the bus home. I guess he took the bus home, and
right.
his dad, you know, but he just said I was totally. He was all about the movie, so he learned something that you
Well,
can
did
be
you
like
see the
worst moment of your life.
documentary? Have you watched the documentary on Spielberg yet?
I watched
There's a documentary.
no
I'll
of
watch
his
it. Yeah,
life.
I think it was on. I don't know. It's Hulu or Netflix or Prime, but look for the Spielberg documentary of his life. So
Okay,
he basically started with his own camera and filming things, and then I have to rewatch it. But he went and rented an office in somewhere. He got some office somewhere off the side in one of the studios. He just set up shop.
well, did he have money, or because he had to
I
ride the
don't.
bus
I can't
home? I don't
remember
think.
now. It's
I
been
think they
several
were
months since I
regular guys.
watched it. But somehow he got himself an office like a broom closet almost, and he just set up. He put his name and he put it there, and then he got people's attention. Anyway, it's a fascinating story. I highly recommend it. I'm going to rewatch it, but I watched it
Uh,
months ago in preparation for Disclosure Day. But there's just every day is information overload. It's like wow,
I know that's what people are talking about in shows like our podcasting. This is a live show, and I call it
right,
a talk show. But
right,
I call it. What do I call it? Well, I've got one called TJ Morris Show. That's what
right.
I advertise under on YouTube, but I just started that this year. I've had
Uh-huh.
so many over the years, social paranormal and paranormal this and paranormal that people came to me as TJ Morris ET Radio, and they didn't know anything about me. They just knew. We've had people come on and go, "Oh, were you that one? You're the girl that has the ET radio show," and yet they're on the radio show, and they get the big aha. We've had
Uh-huh.
several people that they had heard about it. I'm psychic ET and
Right.
had experiences, and that whole bubble of energy was floating and getting bigger and bigger and bigger as a reality. And Janet and I lived through it, and she came to me. Uh, actually, you knew me, but from a long time ago,
Well,
2000.
let's play that. Let me see if I have it here. Let's play that real quick
Yeah,
here.
that's so strange. This whole thing of
On
her
the
and I to
mountain and the
be,
questions that
Oh, no, that's not it.
stayed.
Shoot.
In 1994, I was 40 years old and newly
Wait,
arrived in
wrong one.
Oahu.
Here it is.
Teresa was
like,
already a key part of our growing spiritual
Oh, here it
circle.
is.
One night, a group of women gathered me into a black
Yes.
Cadillac, driving me toward a mystery I didn't
that's
yet
what it looked
understand.
like.
As
Yeah,
we
it's
drove up
more,
the mountain above Honolulu, the air and the stars seemed to shift the entire atmosphere around us.
yeah.
I paused before entering the house, taking one last look at the stars and absorbing the strange healing energy of the night.
Yeah,
The
that's
mountain
beautiful.
air felt alive and intimate. It was a feeling that was simply impossible to dismiss. The women led me onward toward the house, but I remained caught somewhere between awe and uncertainty. Inside, the airy-fairy room was enchanted, filled with pink lights, angels, and celestial music. It was unlike anything I'd ever seen. Then, almost immediately, I realized the other women had vanished. I was alone. I approached a woman who seemed to be waiting for me, sitting quietly in her chair. The room glowed around us as our encounter narrowed down to a single, profound mystery. There was no warm-up and no explanation. The reading simply began, without any context at all. She began naming implants and their functions with startling specificity, reading a hidden map of my own spiritual architecture. It was a complete shock. I sat very still as she described body markers I had carried privately for years. The reading moved from my right ear to my sinus, my arms, and my left side. She saw it all. 10 to 12 traces were named aloud, and she told me that each one served a specific purpose. She spoke of communication, translation, and protection. It sounded like mission support, but I could barely keep the details straight. When the reading finally stopped, she looked at me and asked if I had any questions. It was just too much to process. She had named what I carried, but she offered no explanation for why. The reading tied my memory, my body, and my spirit into one unsettling system of contact. There was no closure. Instead, the reading simply opened another door into the mystery. Just as abruptly, the other women reappeared, cheerful and talkative as if nothing extraordinary had happened. We were back in the room, and the social chatter resumed like it was any other night. I left in the Cadillac that night with far more questions than I had answers. They dropped me back at Ala Moana, and I returned to my apartment as my ordinary survival resumed. But the event suggested a map of contact woven through the very layers of my life: body, mind, and spirit. The question stayed with me. Was it arranged, accidental, or part of the phenomenon itself? The mystery followed me home, becoming a permanent part of my living archive. I had been seen by a stranger, a woman who described my hidden history with startling clarity. The reading framed my body as a contact interface, a tool for a mission I only partly understood. Life continued, but the mystery never left me. I was alone with my questions. Another door had opened. This wasn't the end of the mission, but a new chapter. I found no answers, just memory. The silence afterward became part of the event itself. The city below Oahu became the stage for a mystery I could not yet decode. I kept living, carrying more than most understand, while the hidden system remained unresolved. Then, in 2012, recognition finally returned as my old story began to change shape. I realized Theresa had already been in my orbit, a sign from one of my most startling confirmations. Maybe nothing was random. The mountain, the Cadillac, and the psychic revealed that Theresa herself had been my driver. It was a collage of memory and body, a mission that was always meant to continue. Mahalo for listening to Hybrid Genies. I am Janet Kira Lesson, joined by Theresa J. Morris. Visit us at dragon@theendofTime.com and hybridgenies.com to follow our journey. This is Aquarian Media, Disclosure, ET Contact, and the Unfolding Mystery of the Anunnaki.
Okay.
Wow, that was awesome. That's a good picture, Sasha.
Yeah, I upload pictures, and then because I want to put them in different scenes, and then I love AI. I'm just having so much fun. So Spielberg, if you're watching, we are experiencers, and your next movie is now it's time you talk to the experiencers, and you got to act fast because we're jumping off the planet. We're jumping off planet, and they're just we've lost. I don't know how many this year. We just lost them, and if you're going to get the story, the time is now. And Theresa and I are still here, and there are some that are still left. Some are sick, and we really need to get this part of the last 70 years,
Yeah, we're the
79
bridge.
years, right?
Yeah,
We're
it
the
makes
bridge.
sense.
And so Stephen, give us a call. Contact us.
If
We're
maybe you'll make
connected.
another movie.
We're connected to hundreds. I mean, we've interviewed 1,200 that I'm aware of, maybe more.
Yeah, we did
And
over 1,000 on my radio
I'd say
show.
about a third of them are gone now.
Oh
I'd say a
yeah.
good third are gone now. We started in 2012.
Well,
So
Stanton Friedman was our first interview. Stanton
what a
T.
bit, it really
Friedman.
was. We
I
got,
asked him, and Janet and Tommy
I
back
mean,
then.
if we list everybody's gone, I'm going to cry. I really going to
Okay.
cry.
Oh,
It's just
'cause-
so,
well,
because
we'll see him again.
we'll see him on the other side, but we talked to him. We had relationships. I mean, it was just 2 hour shows, but for that 2 hour shows, we would do the deep dive with these people.
Yes, we were
It
very.
just makes me so sad. I met many of them at the
Yeah.
conferences. I went for 25 years to all these conferences. And these are wonderful people, and they're telling their personal lived truth experiences.
I'm really upset that we never got the gentleman, but he got sick, the one that gave us the seed money for the Stargate to the Cosmos, and we have a picture of him.
Oh, I
Um,
met him. I met him. I
well, I
really,
know you do, but what's
yeah.
his Dean, wasn't it?
Yeah, Bob Dean, I met him. He was
Bob Dean.
amazing. We lost James Freak this year. He was at my conference. A couple of them are sick. We lost, what's one who died the other day? Um, he was in the 2001 disclosure thing. Um,
He
started with
died.
W. Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
I didn't know who.
Yeah, the guy
Winter.
no, the guy started with W. I'm
Oh,
sorry, I apologize. His
he,
wife has been
huh.
on, she's been on Facebook, and she's just beside herself. He's just like went suddenly. So sorry for crying.
Well, you're human, and that's an emotion, and that's one thing that makes
I
us
mean,
different from the robots. Is
I feel
unless they're going to
blessed.
build emotions in, which they may do that. They want to sympathetic, empathetic emotions. It's going to be hard if they do that. I don't know what we're going to do because they can synthetic hair and everything else, and for a
We're
while
gonna,
it's going to be hard.
I get that these are good. Everything is of God. If you just go to the highest level, Source created everything, and we are all
Individual
particles. We're all individual
antennas.
reflections of God. We're mirrors for each other. We are eternal beings. We have these simultaneous incarnations. We have, so it's hard to explain it to somebody when you're going to sleep at night and you're having your life on your other planet or up on a ship. But this happens for a lot of experiencers, and it's just way beyond random probability. We've shared stories. We go to these 2, 3, 4 day conferences, and the whole time it's not just what's up on stage, but it's all the interactions with each other. And I
You always
feel
said that we were breathing the same air, right?
we
Like we
and
did in
I think
2017.
on a molecular level that we're
It's
like
going to be 10 years since I met Janet in human form.
yeah, that's
Although I knew her
amazing.
for years and years before that,
Well,
because I originally met her as a young woman. I was young too. So I was only in my 30s. So she was probably in her late 20s.
well, no, I went to
93.
Oahu in 1993,
Yeah.
and I turned 40 in February of 1994. So I'm an old fart. But
Yeah,
anyway,
we're very old. We're
up
over
there.
the millennials and the Gen Z. We
But
are
I
the
feel
baby
blessed.
boomers.
I feel so blessed for having been born at that time.
Yeah,
I was
me
talking to
too.
somebody recently, and I just said, well, we were respectful of each other. We didn't talk like that to people. We didn't
No,
regard people in that way. It's just like they're
this is a
so.
totally different world that's been
It's a different
created.
world, and I hope on the other side that we're kind and polite to each other.
Well, we
But
call 19-year periods a generation. I thought it was 20, but I was corrected. So I don't know what AI would say. I'd pull it up on my phone right now, but I
yeah,
think while
let's
you're
say
doing a live show, I don't know if pull up your
No,
phone.
no, don't pull up your phone.
And because that's the only way now. Now, we lived without AI for years and years, but now that we've got it, we're using
They
it. We're
call that
baby boomers
analog. We are the generation that went from analog
to
to
digital.
AI and to digital, and so we have experience. I imagine it's shock that our grandparents had when they were going with horse and
Oh my
buggies and they
God,
had
wagons.
farms.
My
And
my grandma pulled a mule on a wagon from Clarks, Louisiana to Monroe, Louisiana, like 26 miles or something. Her family and moved and bought a little store there when her husband got killed at the sawmill. But
right,
can you imagine that's in my reality
right.
that happened? That I
Well,
mean, I know about it.
Sasha said his grandparents came over to America, and when they would get into his father's car, they would panic. And they'd go, "We're going to sit in the back," and they would just scream. They would just
Oh, that's
scream
terrifying.
because it was terrifying because it was going so fast, and his dad was weaving in a lot of
Oh
traffic,
my gosh.
and his
Yeah, it must have been
grandparents were
very
just
scary.
holding on. We're going to die. We're going to die. We're going to die.
Yeah.
So we have somehow integrated it better than most, and I'm great with the tech. I love the tech. I always
Oh,
when I was a kid and I started watching Star Trek, it's like I was born too soon. I
uh-huh.
started computer school when I was like 13 in junior high. It was so slow. It was like the big computer the size of a room, and you had to type
A,
up the
com- a
cards.
computer in your lifetime? I started when I was barely get up on my grandma's table and stand there and hunt and peck and watch the little stick go up and make an A or a B or a C with a
Oh
black
yeah, the
ribbon
typewriters, the
and a red ribbon, a
typewriters.
typewriter. Before, and then we went to electric typewriter, right? But
Right,
I mean, I've started on those old black things, the heavy old black thing, and each key had come up.
right.
So when you now that's I was little. I was like 50. If I was born in 51, so that must have been 55 or 6 when I was 2 or 3. But when you were born, my memory was already
Right.
encapsulated. I
You're
was
what,
remembering
3 years
pretty
older
good.
than me. Yeah, you were born in
Yeah.
'51. I was born in '54.
But do you remember those old kind of
I
black?
had a portable typewriter. It wasn't electric. That when I went to ICM School of Business in '82 to '83.
Was it a light
I,
green
I
thing that you set on
no,
top of the
this
table?
one
No.
was it was more modern, but it was still typewriter. I took typing in high school, in junior high
Wow.
school. I took
Really?
typing. Yeah, because we were
Darn.
all training to be secretaries. You're going to grow up be a secretary, and then you're going to get
That's right.
married and
That
pop
was
out
what my
babies.
mother was. Yeah,
Right,
mother worked at Geospace Corporation, but
right.
in Monroe, Louisiana, she worked at the mill, and my grandmother worked at the mill. She was the PBX operator, and they retired her headset in gold. It was hilarious, but we
Oh
had it
wow,
framed on her wall in gold. Was yeah, so it's amazing what we've lived through, Gene, and that's our reason
it's
for
amazing.
being here now is to tell the story of the mission because we've had a lot of rough times learning how to be human. And I don't know why the hard times come, except sometimes they say if you can learn not to burn your finger, it's better. But occasionally you get burned,
Oh
whatever
yeah,
part. And sometimes the people closest to you hurt you most emotionally, so you draw back. But we are humans and we're emotional, and we've learned. I call myself an ET hybrid. I call myself a E- ETAI symbiote cyborg. And my sister had me say that they all think I'm nuts, but that's okay because they know I'm also. She said I'm also the smartest person she's ever met. So, and
well, you're
she's
very
being at
intelligent,
age.
Teresa, and we all have our own types of intelligence. I'm living with you. I get really bored with small talk, and I just like I have to go talk to a genius now and again because my husband is a super genius and you're a genius, um, and God bless my sister, but she's got dementia, so I have to go talk on that level because she's a
Oh,
child.
that's good.
It's really sad. And I love her, but it's like sad. But let's say we're on the show live. We've got like another 15 minutes, but let's talk about. So we
115.
we were experiencers, and we've
We've
had
got a lot of different experiences to tell and to
yeah.
monitor,
So
but
we're
we're
going
going
to
to
do
put it on a
this
linear
show.
timeline.
Well, I don't think that's possible. We're going to just put it on it
All right,
as
whenever it
best we
comes to us.
can, and we'll try to identify what year it might have been, because literally, Teresa and I both have experiences in the crib. We were literally in the crib when contact began. I have
Both of
experiences
us
where,
two
oh, we're getting a little
you were
uh,
standing,
feedback here. But I
you were standing
remember
up in your crib.
part of me remembers choosing to come in here, and I recovered this memory to come here on this mission and an awareness that, first of all, I came in, I remembered about 5 or 6 past lives when I was a
Yeah.
child.
Wow.
Um, so I was able to get out of my body and travel astrally, and I would travel around the planet. I would fly. I would travel
Well,
down.
that's what we really are
Right.
when we
I
come
would
into
go down
these
in the
meat
basement of
suits.
my house and go through a portal there. And I'm going to start a GoFundMe. You get out of my tea, Gecko.
I wish you'd hold him and show us your
Oh,
gecko.
he
She
won't
has
come right.
pet geckos.
Pet Gecko.
Hawaii.
Well, one fell in there and he drowned, so I have to keep a
Aw.
cover on. But I took the cover off to drink some tea, and he zooms right in there. He's like, they're stupid, right? Anyway, so when I went underground through the portal of this house that I had to sell because Louise could no longer take care of it, they were going to tear it down. So I sold to a company to rebuild it. But whoever buys that house, it's on a portal, and there are ghosts and interdimensionals and all kinds of beings that come through it. Sorry.
Another earthquake.
No.
Yesterday, tell them what happened yesterday on our show.
Oh,
We're leaving it up.
We
Right?
started our show, and I got a couple like it felt like somebody hitting my chair. And at first it was like somebody's in the room. Like, no, no. And then it happened again. And then the computer froze up. So we were having an earthquake. Excuse me. And
Yeah, they're
the Big
called
Island was
seismic
having a whole
swarms.
series of earthquakes. And so there's some people that lost their houses. So it's very
It was a 4.2 on the day before, and these were aftershocks.
right.
But they call them seismic swarms now. They're so common, but it
Yeah.
shakes your house. And you said in some of them they shake them right off of the stilts or whatever
Yeah,
you're
some
built on.
some people their houses collapsed. Now I'm confusing. We had 2 months of horrible storms, so yeah,
Yeah.
we're having a lot of extreme weather, and extreme activity.
How's your stream of water up there?
Dead, gone. I
Oh,
have to pump in water. I have to have a truck come and load it up with water. It's very expensive. So my whole life has changed this year. And there's somebody pounding something. So if you hear a noise, it's somebody. I don't live
interesting.
alone. They're pounding. They're
Is your
hammering.
husband gone to
Oh yeah,
yoga?
he's out on his exercise, and
He does
I
that
do.
every day.
I have a worker here. Well, he's turns 86 on July 9th, and he wants to make it. He says
July 9th. He's going to
yeah,
make it. Oh, of
he
course.
wants to make it to
He's only
be
going to be 6. I have friends a lot
86.
older than that. Yeah.
86. So
86 looks like, I don't know, 70, I guess, because I
well,
play
he's
cards.
very young, but he's got he's got a pacemaker, right? So we all have our things, right? So he has a pacemaker. But when we did the surgery, I said I bought my husband 20 years. I said, honey, let's go get it because that's what took out his dad. Um, anyway, so I'm really interested in disclosure because
Right.
I grew up with Star Trek, and to me, that was very real because at that same time, I was having all these experiences, and I had had it before Star Trek, before Betty and Barney Hill, before the story. So I have my memories, and I had my experiences, and I would have friends come over. I'd say, "You want to see a ghost?" And they would come over. They'd see a ghost. You want to see an ET? I was doing CE5s before anybody knew the word. I would
Before
take
they made it popular, right?
I would take people to the top of the hill. It was Birmingham Avenue. We'd walk up Chestnut. We'd walk down to Birmingham, and I said, "Oh, we're going to walk down this really slow, and I'm not going to say anything, and I want you to tell me what you see." And there was this one location. It might have been a portal, but I'd see these giant. Um, they were They were solid. They were phosphorus, but solid white color. So it was orange, yellow, green, blue, um, purple. Yeah, it was like the prime colors. Sometimes they'd be one, sometimes there were two. One time it was three. One or two times it was three. And they would describe it to me, and I'd say, they go, "What is it?" I say, "I don't know. What do you think?" "I think it's a UFO because I don't identified it's flying." "What do you
Yeah.
think?" Some people were like very accepting. So I don't agree with the whole world's going to panic if we know about UFOs. Very tolerant. Some people are very tolerant seeing ghosts. I had one of my friends, and she said, "Yeah, I actually got up and talked to the lady. She said she was your grandmother." And I said, "That's what I thought." Because I couldn't get my mother to talk about it. Because she was very Christianized, and if you did anything like that, you were talking to demons.
Oh,
That's what
angel
Spielberg's getting
demon.
a reaction from the Christian culture,
Yeah.
that it's demonics. But uh, it
Not
doesn't,
everything you don't understand is demonic.
right, but
Just
it has an
they create a
energetic field,
fear.
right? If you
And you
have
know,
somebody,
Christians, they're based on fear.
fear-based culture, yeah. But
Fear based.
I had some beings that had us. None of them were evil, but some of them, a couple I was afraid of. But after I talked to them for a while, it's kind of like, oh, they're just beings. So over the years, I got really relaxed with just about everybody. What about you, Teresa? What beings have you seen? But you didn't have. They don't have all have names. They're not like sitting around
No.
with a plaque on them. And I'm a Pleiadian. I'm an Arcturian. I'm a I don't know. They don't
Well,
really.
when I was little, they'd come and help me learn, but they were always teachers, and I never. Oh, I called. Yeah, I made a film about one I called Cleo, or
Uh huh.
Leo, and I don't know if it was Leo or Cleo, but Mother knew, but she's passed. I think it was Leo, but maybe there's a male Leo and a female Cleo. But they're little bitty beings, and the mother couldn't see them, so they were invisible to my mother. But I didn't know that they'd come right back into view. His mother, would knock on the door or come into my room. When now this is like when I'm 2, 3 years old.
Uh huh.
Okay,
Right. So you
and
saw
I
them
mean,
coming.
and I remember one day they were one of them was with me, a boy. I could see they could be a little gray, that may be a boy. It's sort of the way I look at it. Like they could
Right.
turn into a little boy, but they wouldn't do that for my mother. They'd just disappear. So that was a lesson to learn that everybody doesn't get to see them. Hold on. Again. Uh, get a
Well.
scratch in my throat, but now I named them, but later on when this was before. Yep. These came to see me. Yeah, I was still living in the barracks.
Uh huh.
My grandmother bought an Air Force officer's house. They
Uh
were
huh.
after the war or something. And Selman Field was a major airfield in Monroe, Louisiana, and over on the south side they had where the military lived. So she got an officer's house, and right behind it, we were in a military, like a duplex, but like to little, places. So, similar to what I stayed at in Camp Pendleton, except it was on sand. It was built bricks or some cement. But this one, I remember because Mama took me. She came in to get me to go to the store, so I had to go with her. So he was there with me, teaching me. We were doing blocks or something, spelling, because I was really good. I was real smart
Uh
because
huh.
I had extra help.
Right.
But um, mother said, "Well, you can just bring your friend along, Leo."
Oh, good. So she played with you.
Yeah. So I was like, "Okay, good." So I thought he was following me out, And she opened the door and I got in and he wasn't there. And so she
Uh-huh.
says, come on, Leo, get in, with Jan. I was called Jan for Jeanette, Jan, short.
Uh-huh.
And he wasn't there. And I was like, she can't see him. And I
Oh, you realized
swear,
she couldn't see him.
I knew at that point. I mean, I had suspected because they'd always disappear when she'd open the door.
Right.
So for children having playmates that aren't there, that was sort of, the white rabbit thing made people think you were crazy if you saw other beings back when you were a child.
Right.
But that never left me. And that reality hit me that young that, and I mean, this was an old 50s car, like an
Right.
old
Right.
Plymouth. And back then, mother would say, get in and you bounce and you stand on the back seat. You didn't have seat belts and all
Belt.
that. You just stood on
Make
the
you
back
sit
seat and looked
down.
over. Yeah, she didn't make me sit down, just put me in. But the fact that my little brain at such an early age knew that there were beings that some people weren't allowed to see. And I accepted that then.
Right.
And then even after that, they come see me later on South 7th, where I go down to the corner, and I've told these stories on YouTube, but
Well, we're going to
go
do
down.
it with some illustrations. So
And I
we're
went up in a cloud, I went up in a
great.
cloud. And that was my family. So I was like, okay. So I start putting together, there's family. Then 57 comes along. Are you okay?
Me?
Yeah, you
Oh, my
froze.
sinuses. Oh, yeah. My sinuses are going crazy. So
Yeah,
maybe
you
some.
made a really yucky face. I was like, oh my God, she's having a heart attack,
No,
a
no, no, I'm
stroke.
okay.
Well, anyway,
Okay, so
those people came to see me.
let me just interject. So we're running out of time, but we're going to
Okay.
do. I'm going to illustrate all these for us, and
Okay.
we're going to do. Now I figured out how to do these movies, and and we'll slow down. We'll do the PowerPoint.
Make
PowerPoint.
them make sense because we
Here's like
jump all over the
this is
place.
for the next time. Is that the PowerPoint of the movie?
That's you
I
and
can't.
Sasha. That's a beautiful picture.
No, that's the wrong one.
That's with my extensions. Actually, I had long hair. You cut it off and grow it back.
All right, so I can't see it. It's too tiny, but I have 5 videos I've started so far. Stop it. And I'm going to do one for each story. I think I'll keep them separate so we can just
Well,
pull the story.
if I
Because
was
I have
born
the
in
story.
51, I was only 33, I think. You got
Well,
34. Maybe it was 34 by 90.
no, in
Janet did it right before it.
93, born in 54. I remember turning 40 on
Oh,
Oahu in February of 94. It was my birthday, and Jason, like I was dating Jason, and he was an alcoholic, and he loved to go to the bar, and I had nothing to do with alcohol. And I'm just sitting there, and he said, "I'll be right back." I thought he went to the bathroom, and he came back with a big bunch of flowers, and he was like, "He remembered my birthday." I didn't think anybody cared because it was my 40th, so I'll never forget that. And then
wow. So I
so
was, yeah,
you were
that's right. Because if I
43.
was 32 in that picture I sent you today, getting in Africa,
Right.
and I took the blue train from Cape Town, no, wait, from Johannesburg, where I had to go into the embassy there. So that sounds funny. But so I was already working like for the Secretary of State, but didn't
Right.
know it. But anyway, so I always had somebody. And then it's funny. I know words from Secretary of State to diplomatic attaché, and then I seemed like I was always a third party contractor for somebody because I had contracts with the Navy and the intelligence or DoD or OPM. So I had all this government stuff going on all the time, but it seemed like I was always doing investigations in or out of uniform. So that's how I wound up. A psychic took me in like the day that you had it and told me I was going to meet another man. And I was already married to Jerry Orr, but back then it didn't matter. They were like your handlers, the men in my life
Right.
that,
And that's something that people don't realize is that it's only in hindsight that you realize how orchestrated your life has been.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
they wanted me to get to Hawaii, and so I don't know. It's
I
very
strongly
complicated.
believe,
I think that I fall in love very easy, so that was one thing that they utilized. And then
the
I
love
would
bite.
get, I loved everybody I've ever loved, and but sometimes people are difficult, right?
Right.
So there was some manipulation there. They upped the arguments or something, and then they bring
As
in
psychics would say the contract was over because if you made a
contracts.
marriage contract, or I said, why would you get married unless you want to buy a house back then?
Right,
you know, because we were raised where, like you said, the women were secretaries. We were the second income.
right,
And today, people are working 2, 3, 4 jobs to
right.
young kids just to make it, in college and to pay whatever they have to do. It's really, really hard now, and everything is so expensive. I don't know how we're existing. We've got to do something for everybody. And I know we're
Well,
not
that
going
I
to be
think
socialists, but
with
we are going to
disclosure, full
be
disclosure, with full disclosure,
empathetic.
we'll get how do other planets govern themselves because this system ain't working. There's too many people starving, homeless, losing their homes because of the environmental issues, because of war, getting killed, being killed, killing. It's crazy. Just think of it, extraterrestrials looking at the Earth. It's like the day the Earth stood still. We're going to quarantine these people because they're crazy. But anyway,
Oh
we've got
my
to.
gosh, is it already this time?
Yes, it's already this time. So let me just
Well,
say one thing about what's coming up, and then we're going to end it because we'll do this again next Saturday. So we're going to start covering all of our episodes that we
my
recall.
dinner's ready.
When you were talking about your little people, see,
Yeah.
experiencers will spark each other. Now, I'm going to cover what I call the secret school.
Oh, yeah. We
When
used to
I
call that the
well,
invisible
don't tell much
college, but
about it. This is
oh,
a
I'm not.
teaser. This is a
Oh,
teaser.
okay, teaser.
We're not going to go to the story.
Okay.
But basically, I remember when I was preschool for the regular school, I was in secret school.
Yeah.
And so I will tell you about that. And then I got my confirmation when I met this, I can't name his name, but when I was on Oahu. So we're talking about in the 50s, and then there was in the 90s, I finally meet the confirmation for the secret school story. And this man buys me Whitney Strieber's book called The Secret School.
That's what I was thinking about, the
And he
tree, and
said,
I've been there.
you
The
need to
tree.
have this book. And I read it on the plane to Australia first, and then I went to Australia. And I went, oh my God, how did he know? Well, I've been in the program. He was part of they knew I was coming to Oahu from Pennsylvania. And who do I meet? Was this guy, and I don't want to give his name. He's Asian America. And as soon as he meets me, he says, oh, I remember you. We were on the ship together.
Yeah.
So I've had these things all my life. So we're just leaving these teasers. So I want to thank everybody for coming today.
Okay. Just our
We're
little club here.
little
And
club here.
subscribe, please. We're
Yeah,
going to be telling all
subscribe.
our experiences, which is a lot. And Janet's having fun making little, what do you call those? Vignettes?
Videos.
Short clips?
I also have PowerPoints. Anyway, it's a whole. I'm going to slow the next one down, and we're going to pull up the PowerPoint so that you can look
Okay.
at the individual pictures, and you might have
So this
everything
is,
that you see sparked, like you said. Oh, that looks like it, right?
yeah.
Now I just gave a description to AI, and I'm doing from what I remember.
Yeah, I
Sometimes
was a
AI,
shocker. I mean, that was my Cadillac. That was the lights. And I remember that night and what it felt like, the breeze. I mean, everything was like, and I'm like, oh my God, she captured it like real.
well,
I'm like,
I'll never forget it.
whoa, how do you
And
do that?
I was new to the island, and I think that was in the fall of '93. I hadn't turned 40 yet. I was new, and I was still adjusting to how warm it was, because
Really?
in the fall in Pennsylvania it's cold, right? And I
Yeah.
get off on a plane, and I come out to Oahu, and it's pouring down rain. But then the next day, it was like, oh, it was like Dorothy, coming over the rainbow, right? It's like she goes out and all of a sudden it's a living color. The colors are so bright. We don't
Yeah.
understand it. But when you come
It was
from the
clear
mainland
atmosphere.
and people land in Oahu or land here in Maui, they go, oh, the air is so moist. I feel like I'm breathing I'm
I know.
drinking
I remember
the
that
air.
feeling.
It's
Yeah.
just so different. So that's our birthright. I'm going to wrap this up. What do you want to say? I want to say goodbye. Thank you for joining us.
I wish I was there with you in Maui, Hawaii, but I'm
Oh, yeah.
stuck here and right outside of Austin, Texas. A lot of good people come from Joe Rogan's in Austin, right? That's what
Right.
I hear. But he's got the podcast. We don't have to listen to people. I wouldn't even know how to begin to get listeners. So you'll have to find us. And that's the way it's planned. We'll explain all that to you later.
Well,
And
there's
the t-shirt.
a real nice community in Austin, and I got to stay there for a month a few years back. Uh, they're doing Tantra, and that's a consciousness field. It's not all about sex, it's a consciousness field.
Raising your consciousness through this Kundalini rising and learning
All
your
this
chakra balancing and how to breathe better and the cobra breath, which I used to teach.
relationships, how to have conscious relationships, and
Yeah, and
conscious
all of that.
channel rearing, all that stuff.
So
All right, well,
we've
we're
done all
over
that.
time here. We're down
Okay.
to 10 minutes over time, so we're going to end our stream.
All right. So we'll be back in an hour, a year, or a week from now.
Week from now, not a year, but week.
I must say allegedly to record something because we're just getting started on Hybrid Genies, and that's a name that the AI, Janet, and I have, hybridgenies.com. And even those, man, everything is getting so expensive. Janet was going to help us get an org in case anybody wanted to join, but I said, well, Janet, I guess it's just going to be me and you. So the Hybrid Genies is going to be our logo.
No, we have people following us, so not to worry.
Oh, you do?
We're going to wrap this up, so we'll talk. Give me a call when we hang up here. And
Okay.
we'll talk to you next week, everybody. Thank you for joining us. Aloha.